Hey YouTube, welcome back to Griffin Grills. I am Griffin, and today we're going to be doing the second part of our holiday rib roast. If you didn't catch the first part already, I'll put a link down in the description below so you can go check that one out and then come back to this one. While you're down there, if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you'll get an alert every time I upload a video. So today we're going to take the rib roast that we trimmed and trussed with the butcher's twine and applied the little salt seasoning. We're going to actually finish out the seasoning today with some McCormick's Montreal steak seasoning. Then we're going to smoke it on the Weber Smokey Mountain and finish it off with a sear on the Weber Performer with the slow and sear. So let's go ahead and look at how we season that up. Alright, so here we are for the second part of our video. If you caught the first one, I got a prime rib roast. It was 2 bones. We Frenched it out, which basically means exposing the bones. Trimmed down some of the fat. It had a pretty decent fat cap on it, so we wanted to take some of that down so we could actually get our seasoning to penetrate the meat. So we're just going to unwrap it now. I've already got my Weber Smokey Mountain lit up and going, and it's getting up there about 250. You just want to keep it kind of low and slow. It's a 5-pound roast, so it's going to take a little while. We're planning on having this for dinner tonight anyways. And you can see off to the back here, I've got a little pan that I'm going to use in place of my water pan in the Smoky Mountain. It's got some potatoes and carrots with some beef broth and rosemary. And I'm just going to let the drippings from the meat land in that, cook all that stuff up nice. And the salt really did the trick. Put a nice red color onto my roast, really brought out a lot of the flavor that's going to come through. So now we're just going to go back and hit it with some Grill Mates McCormick Montreal steak seasoning. It's got a lot of garlic and pepper in it, so it's going to make it pop a little bit. The main thing you want to do is stay away from any rubs that have sugar, because the sugar, when you get into the searing process, will actually cause it to burn and give it a bitter taste. It'll have that kind of burnt aftertaste. A lot of people make that mistake when they start searing. They have a rub that has sugar, and then you end up with that. So we're just going to go for an even coating here. You don't have to drown it in seasoning, just enough to get a little bit on the meat. We'll put a little on that back side just to flavor it up. And don't forget our other round side. Tell you what, that looks like some good eats right there. We're going to probably smoke it with the bone sides down. That way the bone and the membrane can actually act as kind of a heat barrier, because the only thing I'm going to have between my meat and the fire is this bone backside and that pan of vegetables. I'm not running the water pan that comes in the Smoky Mountain. It does great for ribs and everything, but the pan that I have with my veggies in it takes up most of the space in the cooker, and I'm hoping that it'll kind of deflect some of that heat around to it. So let me get this out on the smoker, and I'll see you out there in just a minute. Alright, so here we are out on the porch. You can see we got the Weber Smokey Mountain running hot. We're going to try to keep our temperatures between the 210, 250 range. So it gives us a little bit of leeway. The main thing is we do not want to overcook this meat, so I will be using a probe thermometer with a monitoring system. I recommend the ThermoPro. It always works great for me. Also has a remote unit that you can just set up on a tabletop and watch the temperatures, or it has the little belt clip and you can actually clip it to you, walk around if you got guests or you're entertaining. Absolutely fabulous setup, relatively inexpensive, so if you're new to smoking, definitely a piece of equipment you want to look for. And that's the ThermoPro remote temperature sending unit. So we're going to go ahead and get the lid off. I want to get my probe halfway in the meat, so I'm going to set it on top. See where this point comes to about the halfway point of my roast, and that'll give me my internal temperature for the inside. We're gonna take it up to about 210, 215, and then once it starts getting around there, we want to get it off and get it on the Weber Performer behind us here and get a good nice sear on the crust, so we end up with a final temperature right around 130, 135 for a nice medium rare. So let's get our probe in. Man, does that look good. Alright, so we're gonna measure. Just go right in the middle of this roast. Make sure our cord's out of the way. Now we just need time and patience, so I'm going to keep an eye on the temperatures. I'll also keep an eye on the time, let you know what times it is and how long it took to do everything. So when I come back in the next portion, I'll tell you how long it's been on the smoker. So we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, so here we are back out at the smoker. It's been about an hour since we checked on it last. Our temperatures, probably can't really see that. They're holding at about 255, 260 range, and the internal temperature of the meat has just hit 71 degrees. So we're just going to take a quick peek, take a look at how the cooking process is going, and then we'll get the lid back on so it can finish out. Got some nice swelling on it, so we're just going to let it roll for right now. We've also got our pan in the bottom that has our vegetables, the potatoes and carrots and some beef stock. I did add some salt, pepper, and some rosemary to that also, and a little bit of the Montreal steak seasoning. I just shook that over the top right before I put it on the bottom grate. So we'll come back and check on this in a little while. We're going to keep an eye on the temperatures and show you a video when we get it pulled off. Alright, so our roast hit 120 degrees internal temperature. I went ahead and lit me up a chimney of briquettes and a slow and sear. So we're just going to put a nice sear on the roast. That way everything has good flavor. And you only want to do about a minute, and then rotate it 90 degrees. That way you get those crosshatch grill marks that look so great. So we're just going to let this finish out. We'll do both the top and the bottom and all around the sides. If you'll notice, I'm kind of moving the roast around over the coals so that I can get my scraper in here and clean off the excess. The key to a good sear is good hot temperature and a clean searing surface. When you spend this much time on it, you want the presentation to look as good as it can. top already looks real good. That looks pretty good to me. So we'll go ahead and get this on the plate and started resting. For a 5-pound rib roast like this, we're probably going to want to rest it for at least 20 to 30 minutes just to let those juices kind of resettle back into each other. I'm going to finish off the potatoes and carrots, and we got a few other sides. So we're just going to tint this with some foil on the plate and set it in our cooler to let it rest. We'll catch you back when we plate up. Alright, so here we are back inside now. We went ahead and carved up the roast. All I did was really just follow my knife along the bone, and it took this piece right off. And it gives you a nice flat surface to lay it on where you can do your slices to your preference. We left ours about a 1/4 inch thick. And as you can see, I can squeeze this and there's still juice coming out of there. This one has even sat a little while, and it's still got some good juice. You got that nice fat in there that's nice and flavorful. So this is our holiday dinner this year. We wish all you a Merry Christmas. Alright, so we're back up now. The Weber Performer does a fantastic job with the slow and sear of putting that deep sear on there and getting those cross-hatch marks that everybody looks for. And also the Weber Smokey Mountain does a fantastic job smoking. It held temperatures pretty consistent all the way through. It was delicious. I mean, oh my God, I wish YouTube would come up with smell-o-vision so y'all could have smelled some of the smells that were coming off of those smokers and grills. But oh my God, it was just so good. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification so you'll get an alert every time that I update a video. And also be sure to share this on your social media platforms. It does help the channel out, and I do appreciate that. So we'll try to stick to a more consistent schedule from here on out. I'm going to try to be a little more diligent with it. But I thank you for all your support. And like I said, from the bottom of our family's hearts, Merry Christmas to you and yours, and have a great year.